So this is a video about getting to know me as somebody who has been on YouTube for the better half of 5 years. No, 6 years, maybe. I've been around for a while, but I just got out of my way to be on camera in this way. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of who am I and what I do and why and all those things, and introduce you to me as 3 entities in a trench coat and what makes up each one of those entities. So a brief synopsis about me. My name is Joy. I am originally from Virginia. I am back in Virginia after spending 5 or so years in the wretched state of Maryland. I am a Virgo. I am a Scorpio rising and a Sagittarius moon. Make of that what you will. I have very little air in my chart. So I tend to be very mutable while also being fixed and having moments of stoic flow, fiery energy. That tends to be the 3 esoteric versions of me in the trench coat. 3 beings in a trench coat. I would say the first, like the most guttural one at the bottom, not so much there at the bottom, but they're the foundation, is this insatiable need for knowledge. I need to know what's going on. I need to know why. I've also come to terms with I will never know why about some things. And that's what makes that entity, that being, such a foundational person, such a foundational existence, because it will never be satisfied. Okay, but what's this over here? What's going on over there? Maybe I can figure that out over here. And there's a fine line with that, because then you get into the spiraling down of not knowing the answer so much that you just negate every other thing around you until you get that answer. So I've been there. I'm working on how to not do that to myself. So instead, I come from the perspective of, all right, we're not going to know this. That's okay. The person in the middle, the being in the middle, is the one that is the helper. For my multiple hats that I wear, one of them is brand specialist. It is someone who helps people stop being afraid of being on camera. That came from me, again, always having the camera in my hand, but also knowing what it felt like to be both behind and in front of the camera, and being scared. Not only being scared of making a mistake and not knowing what I'm doing, but also being afraid of other people's opinions. I used to model from, I think, age 3 until about 18. I had a really bad experience in college where a photographer just kept yelling at me to suck it in. It wasn't even the photographer, it was his creative director. I was 150 pounds and freshman 15. So that meant that I was going into college at like 130, and he just kept telling me to suck it in, yelling at me from the other side of the camera. In that moment, 2 things became true. I will never be in front of a camera if this is what the experience is going to be like, so I am going to advocate for myself. But 2, life behind the camera, I will never treat another human being like this. Never. It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible experience to have someone who does not know you, is only viewing you from what their little pixelated whatever is convincing them that that's what you are, and no backup, no support, nothing. You're at the whim of this individual who is projecting onto you all the things that's wrong with them, but because you're 18 trying to make sense of this world, you believe them. And in that moment, I decided I will never let anybody feel this way in front of my camera. No, we don't do that here. We're going to make sure that you are comfortable. We're going to make sure that you are satisfied with what you're seeing, and you're going to be a part of this experience from the beginning to the end. No, I hold your hand and we walk through this together. That melted into being a brand specialist and helping people get over their fears of being on camera. And that leads me into my top being in this trench coat. I just want to know. I want to know why. I have these bits of random information that I've just collected over the 37 years I've been on this earth. And I want to know. I know I am that person at a party that will walk up to you and go, hey, did you know? Or somebody's talking about something like, yeah, that's like that thing, that whatever, because I am an ambivert. And with the line of work that I do, I've had to come out of being as much of an introvert as I actually am and become an ambivert. I will never say I'm an extrovert because I am not. But that top person in that trench coat is the ambivert, is the one that still has this whimsical look about the world and wants to know why, wants to know how, and wants to be a part of the solution, be a part of the puzzle to make it all make sense. I am these three beings in a trench coat. So I'm going to come to you in very whimsical, philosophical thinking when it comes to religion, because that is something that I have experienced and endured for a good chunk of my life. And it formed so much of me in both positive and negative ways, mostly negative ways. And so I'm going to come to you with that. And then the next video can be me talking about how to be more comfortable in front of a camera and showing up and showing proof that, hey, this is how it looks to be comfortable in front of a camera. And then the other one could be me talking about a deep dive into a character introspective like I did with my Moselle video, because those are the things that I care about. I am not one thing. I do not have one niche. So if you're coming here and you're like, oh, she does this. Yeah, but I also do this. And neither one of them is wrong. Neither one of them is inaccurate. They all go, yeah, that sounds about right. Something Joy would do. I'm a single mom. I have been a single mom majority of my kids' life. They will be 16 in May of 2025. I've been a single mom about 14 and a half years of those 16 years. I have multiple businesses and multiple streams of things that I love to do. One of them is filmmaking. And that has been a love of mine since I was a wee child. Shot my first short officially back in 2020 when all the rest of us was in the world doing whatever the hell we could make sense of. And I am currently working on one about my mom and our relationship or lack thereof. I am an only child. Both of my parents are dead. And I have been trying to make sense of this world as an orphan essentially for the last 4 years. I love anything that is terracotta, gold, rich purples like a mulberry purple. I love that. I love texture. I love warmth. I love things with depth. I love being immersed in that color scheme. Like this, my entire existence is this color. Focus. My entire existence is the e.l.f. lip gloss, Chocolux. I have been in the world of media for roughly 15 years. I have my own business. I actually have a few businesses, but the one that is the most lucrative is my business, The Joy Element. And that is a business where I help content creators, entrepreneurs, business owners get over their fears of being on camera and also get over their fears of promoting themselves. And I show them how to be authentic in doing it and not feel like you have to regurgitate a script or chase a trend. Just be yourself. So that is what I do with The Joy Element. I have had The Joy Element technically since 2010, but I officially created my LLC in 2017. In that other time frame, that 7 years, I was failing upward. So much of that work I had to do it. I had to get it out the mud. I had to be self-taught. Another dear friend of mine was the same way. We learned together. We learned from each other, with each other. That became one of my things that I discovered about myself is I have the ability to help people be less uncomfortable on camera. My favorite color is purple. My favorite number is 9 and 3 because it's derivative of 9. I also suck at math. I have 2 cats, one named Sage and another one named Neffy. Neither one of them has brain cell on a regular basis. I don't know why y'all keep holding it, but at the same time, I don't think they know how to intercept it, so they just exist. I have 9 piercings and 3 tattoos. I am a millionaire. I just want you to know that I'm a millionaire. And it's on camera, so that makes it true. Now, for real, I am a millionaire. You can't tell me that I'm not. I am real big into esoteric stuff. I've always been into that. I practice hoodoo. I am very much in the spaces of communicating with my ancestors, communicating with other beings. Like that's what I do. I am very much a woo-woo girl, but not into the woo-woo in the ways in which it is harmful. There are differences between the delulu and deluded, and there are some things just don't make sense. And as somebody who loves to know why and loves to know how, I'm also understanding that some things just don't make sense, and all of those things existing in one brain can be a lot, but knowing how to navigate that is what's important. I had a video on here some years ago that did kind of well, and it was about my life on Lexapro. It ended up not being a great life at all, actually. Lexapro damn near killed me because it started to give me issues with my heart, something I never had issues with before. So I had to cold turkey Lexapro. Nobody told me to do that. I chose to do that because somebody say basically your heart is on its last leg, when it's like, hey, that's never been an issue before. So I cold turkeyed Lexapro, and now I'm on Wellbutrin. I actually prefer it. Wellbutrin is everything. Wellbutrin Baddie, medicated Baddie. Yeah. Yes. Very much that. 3 of my favorite movies. Neither one of them are going to make sense with the other. First one, Crooklyn. Second one, You've Got Mail. Third one is going to be a toss-up between Jackie's Back and Moulin Rouge. Like, none of my movies make sense. Just like a good chunk of everything else in my life doesn't make sense. But the nonsensical nature, the cacophony of everything that I have created and have become makes so much sense in the ways in which it doesn't make sense. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. And that's on you, because the girls that get it, get it. I'm a tea drinker. I hate coffee. I hate everything that has to do with coffee. I don't want to, I hate it. Love the way it smells. Hate the way it tastes. Hate the way it makes me feel. I am somebody who's very sensitive to caffeine. The closest I can get to a regular dose of caffeine is matcha. And I don't drink matcha a whole lot because of caffeine. I don't like caffeine. I don't like stimulants. It's something that makes me feel extremely anxious. And I have enough anxiety as it is while I'm on Wellbutrin. I don't want to introduce added anxiety to my body just to keep me awake. If I'm just a sleepy girl, I'm just a sleepy girl. Coffee, no, we're good. I have written about 8 scripts, I believe. I'm working on my latest. I've been working on that for the last 2 or 3 years, but if you watch a couple of my videos here on the channel, you will know why it's taken me as long as it has, because 2022 through mid 2024 were not kind. It's taken a little bit of time, but we're here. I get fascinated, borderline obsessed with things very quickly. I have very niche obsessions, at least niche for me. And if and when I want to talk about something, I need to talk about it with someone, even if nobody else gets it, even if other people are like, I don't understand, and that's enough for me to go, let me break it down to you in 3 parts. One of the reasons why I'm so whimsical and philosophical with things, and I need to know how and why, because I want to know why this person did the thing that they did. I want to know why, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. Again, those niche obsessions, and then also wanting to take everybody else down with me. I took my sister down the deepest of Drew Hill rabbit holes, and she's now as obsessed with Drew Hill as I am. So it's not for naught. There are reasons. And if I get obsessed with a podcast, or specifically a podcast episode, or whatever subject that podcast episode within that podcast is speaking of, I'm going to talk about it, and I want everyone else to know about it so we can talk about it together, because it's more fun. It's a better use of our time. All the other bullshit that's happening in this world right now, I want to talk about the thing. I want to talk about that this one niche podcast episode specifically about disco and the history of it and how it got to synth and house music. Am I in any one of those spaces? No, but I'm obsessed with it because I love Donna Summer. I grew up in a house with my grandparents and an older parent, so I watched way too much 70s everything. So I'm a little bit obsessed, but it's fun to me. I wanted to talk about it. Let's talk about Why? More than anything, I just want to help people. However way that means. If that means me just showing up here with this mic and this camera and whatever background that I decide to film from going forward, if that's helpful, then I just want to be helpful. I just want to be of help. Whatever that looks like. If I decide next week that I'm going to do another character introspective, if I decide to do another uncut gem, if I decide to just do long haul, we don't know what the hell she's talking about, but she is passionate. If that's what helps other people to get up and go, you know what, I can do this too. Somebody who has been traumatized to the extent of we don't know how she's still here. If I can get up here and be myself and show other people that it's okay, show one person that it's okay, I did my job. I wanted to let somebody know that, hey, it was worth getting up today. It was worth getting up today. I've been therapized for damn near 20 years, coming up on 20 years since I was 18. I'll be 38 this year. I've been in therapy on and off since I was 18 because I decided to go help myself because no one else was going to do it. Actively were making sure that they were not going to help me and decided to help myself. And there were so many aspects of me who helped me in ways I didn't know I could be helped, in ways I thought were impossible for me to attain. And here I was helping myself. Present me, looking out for future me while dealing with past me. And present me in this moment could not exist if it were not for past me in that moment, present me in that moment, looking out for future me that ended up being me. So I am grateful for me deciding to come help me, to come save me. Higher self me deciding to go, yeah, we're not going to do this. And we're going to survive. We're going to get out of this. And not only are we going to survive, we're going to thrive. We're going to become everything we were told we could not become, even if that means being a quote unquote late bloomer. If that means starting over every single time, because we got to make sure that this foundation is solid. Can't nobody knock me off this pedestal, bitch. I built it. And if that helps somebody out there who has experienced actively being silenced, actively being ignored, actively being made to believe that you don't matter by your parents, grandparents, family members, partners, bosses, co-workers, students, teachers, whoever, who decided to make you the punching bag, decided to make you the scapegoat, and everything was going to be your fault. If you decided that, bitch, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow myself to be made as some Bama's scapegoat because they have nothing else going for them in their lives. So they decide they're going to try to destroy mine. If you're anything like that, if you've experienced that, I'm here for you and I'm here because of us. I'm here for us. So that means you get to wake up too and decide to come on this camera and talk about your things, regardless of whether it makes sense. Somebody out there is going to go, oh my God, somebody finally gets it. Somebody finally said it. And if it's me finally saying it for you, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. And that includes me saying it to me, because past me needs to know that future me has her back.